two big issues on the president's plate, and one was on your plate, immigration reform.
Mm-hmm.
Think it's moving in the right direction?
I think they're making progress. I'm a big fan of Marco Rubio, for example. I think he's worked it aggressively. I think
Pathway to citizenship.
I think that's basically where you're headed. You've got to have some kind of ultimate resolution of it. I'm not an expert in the subject, but I think clearly we've got, over 11 million illegals here. I think the idea is that we need to find ways to come to grips with that problem and pass legislation on it are sound. Exactly what ought to be in it. Say, I'm more inclined to look at somebody like Rubio and the work he's done as being something that we need to.
This is something your administration wanted very much. The president cited it as one of his second-term goals.
The president was very big on it. He had 44% of the Latino vote in Texas.
So what's happened to your party?
I think the issue was probably badly handled during the last election. I think that contributed to it.
Because of the competitiveness of the primary?
Partly because, I think in part because one of the explanations, I can't speak with authority to whether or not this was it, but that we ended up with our candidate trying to run to the right of Governor Perry in Texas, and he picked that issue to do it on, and that was obviously not a good move from the standpoint of the Hispanic community.
You're a hunter.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what your reaction was to Newtown and the sense that that was demanded that the country do something that it was not doing.
Well, I think I had the same reaction everybody else did. I've got a 6-year-old grandson, a 5-year-old grandson, a 3-year-old granddaughter, an 8-year-old grandson. Kids in that group, I can imagine what those families must have experienced to go through that. I'm not sure that going back to what we've done before, for example, banning the so-called assault weapon, is going to have the desired impact. I worry that it becomes a symbolic act, a big political fight, but in the final analysis, it won't solve or won't address the problem.
But too many guns that are going to the wrong place are being sold at gun shops without adequate.
I think that's some part of it. I do think you need decent background checks.
Republican Party today has got some problems, obviously. It's got to reach out, and they are saying it. And they've got to change. Eric Cantor's saying it. Marco Rubio is saying it. Paul Ryan is saying it. Governor Jindal is saying it. The question is, how do you think the Republican Party has to change?
I'm not one of those who believes that our philosophy is somehow fundamentally flawed, or that we need to be more like Democrats. I remember one of the low points in my career was when on the morning after the '76 election, Jerry Ford had lost his voice, and I had to get on the telephone with the president and read the president's concession statement to Jimmy Carter. That hurt. What I worry about is that Barack Obama is more competent than Jimmy Carter was and is doing more damage. And I really am very seriously concerned, as you can tell from our comments. I'm not worried just about
it almost seems visceral dislike of this president.
I try not to make it visceral. He got elected.
But is it?
Obviously, I'm not a fan of Barack Obama's.
But more than that.
I'm not a fan of Barack Obama's. I'll go that far. It's a gentlemanly statement, Charlie. He won the election, but I do think the man is doing serious long-term damage to the country.